you need to also identify goals that provide motivation, inspiration, and direction. So I heard someone, it was just a joke, but I'll hear people make goals like this. I want to be Mike Gold. That's not a goal, okay? Or I want to be like Mike Gold. That's not a specific goal, and it's not realistic, okay?
Well, I'm leaving.
Don't be like Mike. There we go, fixing the stone here.
I'm gonna look like you.
Okay, words or numbers need to be specific and concise, okay? So just saying, well, I need to get better at pull-ups. Well, what do you mean by that? You need to get better at chest to bar pull-ups. You need to get better at regular kipping pull-ups. Have a specific goal. So I want to be able to do 20 consecutive kipping pull-ups. That's a goal. Notice one thing, I did not say unbroken, because that is not in the positive tense. What that means is I'm talking about breaking my pull-ups. I want to talk about doing things consecutively. Okay? I'll get a little bit more into that in a second. You need to have a time frame. So it's short enough to provide motivation, inspiration, and direction. If I say, let's say I can barely do a pull-up with a thick ring band, and I say I want to do 20 consecutive kipping pull-ups. Well, that might be, I might have to lose 50 pounds, and that might be a year and a half down the line. That's not a goal that's really going to provide me motivation right now, inspiration, or direction. It's too far off. The positive tense, express what you want, not what you don't want. So what I mean by that is, just like I was saying, with the 20 pull-ups, don't say unbroken, say consecutive. Or on the snatch ladder, I can't miss 195, I've hit this before. No, I want to hit 225 on the snatch ladder. So we need to talk about goals in the positive tense. A great example, has anyone been in a workout, or even a competition, some of us in here have competed, where you're doing, you're going through, say, clean and jerks, or wall ball is a great example. Say you miss the line on a wall ball. You get no rep on a wall ball. Well, the next one you do, or once you get no rep, normally you're going to let it drop. I see it all the time. Or say you miss the line. You miss the line on a wall ball, a lot of times you're not going to keep going, you let it drop. Or you hear no rep. That is an example of actually the positive tense, because when you hear no, it makes you stop. Or someone's, say they're finishing up and they have 3 clean and jerks left in a workout. If you say, and they're like 2 into it and they're really starting to struggle, if you say don't drop it, when they hear drop it, sometimes they're just going to drop it. If you say hold on, that's a better cue, actually. Hold on to the bar. If they hear don't drop it, that can actually put that in their head, oh, I'm going to drop it. So this is something that a lot of us don't think about in CrossFit, but it's something that you want to try to start to apply, okay? Getting a little bit more back into the goals, realistic goals. These are ones that fire you up. Use 1, 3, and 6 month increments for your goals. Make them attainable. What a lot of people do is they kind of make these pie in the sky goals that are too far out in the future, and they don't set these smaller incremental goals. And that's something that we need to learn how to do. And this combine is a really good way to do that, because it's only it's about 6 weeks, and it can really help us learn how to set those 1 month goals. In my opinion, those are the most important, to keep hitting those 1 month goals, because that's what's. So your thoughts become words. Your words become actions. Your actions become habits. Your habits become character. Your character becomes your destiny. If you start to notice yourself getting into a negative mind state when you're training, And you'll start to talk about things like, we're doing this again, or shoot, we're running, I hate running. Start to not come on running days. Running sucks. I start to not train as often because I'm not seeing improvement. You're just negative and you're down on yourself. You'll start getting down on other people. It kind of starts to ruin your character. And then that becomes your destiny. Okay? People who you see, and you guys will see this in the gym. And it can be people, and it might be things outside of the gym that are affecting their day-to-day life. But if you see people who are just they're kind of negative, they're kind of bummers when it comes to training, you're going to see their performance decline. And then they're going to typically, after a period of 3 or 4 months, they're just going to stop training. Okay? We all have seen people do this. Okay? We've all seen this happen to people. If you feel, and I've seen it happen with myself, with really good games athletes, if you start to see this coming on, figure out where you are in here and try to reverse that, okay? Start trying to think positively. Visualization, you need an anchor point. So what an anchor point is think about a time in your life where you did something really awesome, whether it was in sports, or it could have even been like in 5th grade, you won a spelling bee, or just any time in your life where you felt like you were on top of the world. For me, I have a few different ones that I like to use. One was, it was a baseball game, so I'll give you an example. It was in college. I played a year of college baseball. I had gone 0 for 3. The game was tied. I'd gone 0 for 3. The pitcher had struck me out bad 3 times. And the last time he threw a curveball, actually fell on the ground. Thought it was going to hit me. It went over the plate for a strike. Embarrassed the hell out of me. He actually smiled when I went up the bat. He was almost laughing because he had I fell on the ground. Like the whole dugout on the other team was just cracking up. Game was tied. It was in the last inning. I'm really nervous. I just embarrassed myself. Got in there and we had 2 guys on base. First pitch, I hit it. I hit the 400-foot marker in center field. Drove in the last 2 runs. Game walk-off hit. Game over. It was probably the coolest hit I've ever gotten in my life in baseball. If something's say you're in a workout and it's going bad on you, bring yourself back to that point. Like, I'm jumping up, I feel good. Workout's going bad on you, like you can't get a handstand push-up, you're like stuck. You're like shaking out, the workout's going bad on you. Take yourself back to that anchor. When you're identifying weaknesses, which is the purpose of this combine, you can attack them in different ways. So there's a macro cycle, which is like a 1-year plan. So track runners are people who are, from a track background or a running background at a higher level. They understand sometimes what a macro cycle might be a whole year of training. Okay, we're looking at a big 1-year block. A mesocycle is we're breaking it down into 2 and 4 month blocks, maybe by season. And then your microcycles are going to be your weekly and daily. For us at the gym, I do this. So I program a basic 1-year plan. Okay? So what we're looking at is in midsummer to the end of fall, we're looking at more strength-based. If you guys have been in the classes, you've noticed we're doing a lot of weightlifting cycles. We're squatting and deadlifting and doing things like that, trying to get your strength numbers built up. And then we're going to start to transition out of that into more of a Metcon focus and skill focus. So you'll start to see some of that stuff now come up more because what we're doing is we're transitioning into getting ready for the open. All right. And then, so when we start to break down mesocycles, so what that means is I have all of our strength planned out for between 2 and 4 months in advance, okay? And then what I'm going to do with us here is I'm going to break that down into microcycles. So weekly or monthly, I'm going to actually start to fill in those wads, okay? I don't like to put in wads 2 to 4 months in advance because I might run across one on another website or actually feel like, oh, we've been doing this a ton. We actually need to kind of move out of that. So I program these weekly so we don't get stale. We keep the gym fun and I'm not stuck with something that I had planned for 2 months. Where am I at and how do I progress? So I'm going to describe different levels of athletes and you can start to kind of place yourself here. Okay. So a novice athlete. So what we need to do is build experience, consistency, and well-rounded skills. The first step is establishing at least a 3-day-a-week training schedule. If you haven't done that, this is step 1, guys. So I've had people, they think they need to do like a special games training program, or I'm an outlaw, or I'm doing Invictus training. Like you don't even train 3 days a week. So let's get in here and let's start training 3 days a week, and then we can kind of talk about that. Okay. Step 2, we're working on training 4 or 5 days a week. Okay, and that's where a lot of us are. We're training 4 or 5 days a week. We're getting into class, really consistently. And then step 3 would be kind of like that CrossFit prescription of 3 on, 1 off, that 5 or 6 day a week training. And that's the novice athlete. What we're trying to do is we're building, like I said, building the experience, consistency, and well-rounded skills. So you're training often, you're getting exposed to a lot of different things. And what you're going to do is you're just going to get better by being here often, okay? So that will get us better for a lot of us for 2 years. You'll just get better by just training and being here consistently. You don't even have to really attack any specific goals. Intermediate athlete, this describes a lot of us. Actually, this is going to describe a lot of the people in this room, and even a lot of our competitive athletes are intermediate athletes. They're not elite or advanced athletes. You do most of the workouts prescribed. You can perform most skills, but you might lack some capacity and high-end skills. Like you might be able to do a muscle up, but you might not move through a muscle up workout well. Or you might be able to do a chest to bar pull up, but if there's chunks of 20, you might be hanging out for a while doing it. You might not be moving right through that. An intermediate athlete's going to train 5 to 6 days a week. What you can start to do here, and this is a lot of us in this room. We're going to add 2 or 3 skill days on top of our normal WODs. What I do here is I actually do that for us. If you just see like 50 ab max sit-ups at the end of the workout, that's not an extra skill day. That's cooling down from the workout. That's not extra credit really. That's more of a cool down. But if you see like an EMOM, so every minute on the minute for 10 minutes, 3 strict handstand push-ups, that's an example of a skill day on top of your WOD, okay? Or if you see extra muscle up work, or you do the OE lifting on Thursdays after your WOD, that's going to be an example of adding an extra skill day. You can also do a double day, which means you do the class and you might do another WOD. So let's say you need extra work in, say you're good at longer workouts, but short workouts, you're just kind of used to running like a real steady race. So a good example would be like, okay, we did a 20-minute AMRAP. I need to work on my fast stuff. I'm going to rest. I'm going to come back. I might go to a barbell and do the 2008 games WOD of 5 deadlifts at 275, 10 burpees. and that is a sub 5-minute workout. So that's all you're doing. It's a quick, fast little burner. You need to work on things like that. So that's an example of how to add a double day. Again, we're going to this is just a programming intro to start to wrap you guys' head around it. I'm going to get into specifics, how to actually use the strength cycles and specific skill work in the next seminar we do. Okay. So an advanced/elite athlete, we're jumping from 1 or 2 hours in the gym to 3 to 5 hours in the gym. Okay. So this is like our games guys. All right. This is like Joey and Andy, guys who are working out. When they're not working, they're working out. That's what they do. Okay. They're going 3 on 1 off, or 3 on 1 off, not 1 on 1 off, 2 on 1 off. So they might only train 5 days a week, but their days are really tough. Okay. A sample day might include, a 5x3 deadlift, something we do actually in our classes often, but that might be followed by, another 20 minutes of Olympic weightlifting. They're doing the level 2 Metcon skill work, and so they're getting like 2 extra things in a day, and it really takes a lot of commitment to really jump to this level. So this is more for people who are looking at making a run at regionals, trying to be on a team or go to the games. Most of us you can get really good training 1 to 2 hours a day. You can get really strong, really fit. But in order to make the games, you're going to have to look at a schedule that looks a little bit more like this at this point in time.